You're listening to Until They Sleep, a podcast where two parents finally get to sit down and discuss all the different things that run through their heads every day because their four kids are finally asleep. Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome back to Until They Sleep. I am Daniel.
And I'm Shantelle.
Well,
it was a pretty busy week.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, I hope everybody had a great weekend and remembering any family members or friends or family that have served our country.
Yes,
and
Memorial Day weekend.
So it's usually for most Americans, a sad day. I think everybody has had a family member that's been in the military and has served, or they knew somebody that probably gave all. And it's one of those, but it's kind of like in memory of those that are no longer here. In our family, at least, we try to live it to the most and do it in their honor.
Yeah.
So
our kids, we've raised them to be grateful for those who maintain our freedom in one way or another.
Yeah. So usually, I like to do some, I've noticed this. I usually end up doing some yard work or something of that nature, some work around the house, and then we end up grilling. But this year I didn't grill. We went out to dinner.
And we had a moment of silence with the kids at dinner time.
Yeah. And I mean, we usually try to do something for that because, they don't get to do that anymore. So in the memory, we try to do those little things that we all take for granted on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Fill me in. What have I missed this week? Let's just get straight to the point.
Okay, well, let's see. Overall, my week was pretty busy last week. It was our elementary kids' last week of school. They were out on Thursday. And I did a little extra volunteering just because it's also their last year at that school. They'll be starting at a new school next year, which they're not happy about because they won't be able to see their friends anymore. But I hear a couple of their classmates are going to be going over there. Not necessarily friends, but a couple of other classmates.
People that they know, people that they're used to seeing, right?
Yeah, we'll be going to that school as well. And, maybe they'll become friends at that point. Because sometimes that's what it takes, is just a common face. You might not have been friends before, but having that common face at the new place makes you end up being friends. And maybe not. Maybe they'll just end up making, hopefully, new friends and better friends than the ones they've had.
So you said you volunteered. Can you let us know what were you doing? What were you volunteering doing?
Last Monday, I volunteered for our son's high school. He is still in school for another week and a half, but I volunteered during their choir as a will call check-in person, for the choir concert that they had.
Oh, that's right. We did go that.
Yeah, we went to that on last Monday. And then on Tuesday, the day right after, I spent the whole day at the elementary school for their field day. And half the time I was there, I was in charge of some water event, which they need to find something better because that was a disaster. And then the second half of the day, I was in charge of the younger grades playing keepy uppy in very strong winds with giant beach balls. That was extremely difficult.
So tell me what exactly is field day?
So every year, this school, the charter school, at the end of the year, they basically just have a whole day of water or fun events. They'll have like the thing I was in charge of was they had to, one group of kids is on one side, there's one kid with a bucket on their head on the other side, and they're trying to shoot water into the bucket, and whichever team gets the most water wins. But again, they're doing this for every upper class group, so from 4th to 8th grade, and it's hard to do, and at some point the kids are totally over. I had, out of all the groups of kids, the hardest, most frustrating group were definitely the 7th and 8th graders. Like, something about those changing hormones and just not wanting to listen. Even the teachers had to repeat themselves I don't know how many times, and I am very grateful to the teachers for putting up with all that, because if I ever saw or knew that my kids were behaving the way some of these kids behaved, there would be some severe punishments at home.
So pretty much, yeah, the younger they were, the
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 better
better they were.
behaved. I mean, of course, there's rambunctious ones, but they definitely listened better.
So are there like stations of
Their
different things that they're
stations.
doing, and then it's all water based?
They would rotate. Some of them weren't water based. Like some of them were just like there was one station where they had to put on all these floaties and jump over hurdles. So they had like a flamingo floaty, like a inner tube,
Okay,
like a flamingo. And then they had to put floaties on their arms, and they had to
like
put
maybe more awkward to run or
yes,
whatever.
exactly. And then they had to jump over like mini hurdles.
Getting them ready for being adults and becoming fat.
I guess.
Little fatzos.
Yeah, but then right after that was a homemade slip and slide. They had like a giant tarp, like a really smooth tarp, and they had parents with water hoses, watering down the tarp,
What did you call that?
like a homemade slip and slide.
Oh, we used to call that the ghetto slip and slide.
Yeah, I said
That's how it
homemade
was.
slip and slide, and then they even had like little inner tubes, and they would like go down it. And I mean, of course, everybody had more fun with the water ones, but my second station, I should say, was non-water. It was just these huge, giant beach balls, and they had to basically play keepy uppy with it, just keep it up in the air. It was supposed to be two teams, and to see which team could keep it up the longest. But with the strength of the wind and the younger the kids are, the harder it is. First of all, for them to work together, but second of all, just the wind was too strong. They're trying to motivate them. Okay, are you guys stronger and faster than the wind? And they're like, yeah. And I said, okay, so it's us against the wind. We have to keep the ball up in the air and don't let the wind knock it out of our hands. Yeah, of course that doesn't work.
Oh, but you find a way to like talk to them
Oh
in a way
yeah.
that get them all
Yes,
into it, right? So
yeah.
that's what you said. Like, so the younger, the easier,
Yes.
because of stuff like that. But then,
Exactly.
you know, the older, oh, I'm too cool for this. Oh, this is for little kids.
Or well, see, that wasn't when I was doing the water thing with the older kids. It was really more of a, this is stupid. We can't get the water into the bucket, so we're just gonna fill up the bucket and dump it on each other. They just wanted to play and get wet, and unfortunately, it was a little frustrating because I literally had to save those water guns for, was that five different class levels, and I had to make sure they weren't breaking them, and they were, of course, they were breaking them, and goofing off, shooting other people, and it was just really hard. I just got really frustrated, and on top of all of it, a part of me was just like, just let them have fun. But then I'd have other parent volunteers be like, okay, we have to make sure that they aren't wasting all the water, because, and it's true, there was one water hose to go around and fill up all the water stations. So if they ran out of water, we had to wait for the water hose, or the next group didn't have water until they finally came over. So it was frustrating, that sense of where I was in charge of making sure that they didn't waste the water, but they were not listening. And I actually got in some kids' faces. And I think the teachers were just grateful to not have to be the ones
For once.
yeah, scolding these kids. But I got in their faces, and these kids were extremely defiant. But they weren't my kids, so I didn't do anything. But it was definitely one of those moments where you're like, it was really bad.
They were worse than ours.
It
Way
was
worse
the
than
talk
ours.
back, the comments, like they were extremely rude. Like I am grateful. I'd like to think that my kids are well behaved, but if they're not well behaved and if they're acting like these kids on campus, I definitely feel it's a reflection on the parents, right? Like,
It's more of the racing.
well, yeah, it seems like they're spoiled. They could probably get away with a lot at home. I know not always. Sometimes kids just talk back. It's part of the age. I get it. It's that teen, I do what I want. I know more than you. I get it. But at the same time, you got to teach your kids to be respectful of other adults, especially when there's authority. Like, we're there volunteering our time. The teachers, yeah, they're getting paid, but they're basically babysitting your kids. So to understand that these kids are acting up like this with their teachers. 'Cause the teachers were mad too. Like some of the teachers were over there yelling, "If you don't stop it, you're going to sit this out." Anyways, I'm rambling on a different subject of this. The point was that
Yeah, you just went out on a tangent
yeah,
there.
because it really made me mad. I got really angry at these kids, and of course, there's nothing I can do about it. I just kind of, let them know that if they don't want to participate, they can sit it out.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like, "You guys
All
don't
right,
want to participate in
so that was what day again?
That was
Sorry, I'm
Tuesday.
going to cut you off because you're
I know,
going to
I'm
go
gonna
off
keep going.
forever now.
That was Tuesday.
So I think the one on Monday was a little bit funny too. What happened? So
What happened on Monday?
well, you say you volunteered for the choir one, and we showed up late. Well, not late, but we weren't. We didn't have to be there as early as you did because obviously you had to take our high schooler,
Yeah, because he had to
and
be
then
there
you
for.
were volunteering.
And while we were there,
Yeah, nah, you're tracking me.
the fire alarm went off. So we had to. The fire alarm at the high school went off, and everyone had to evacuate during rehearsal, and we basically lost 20 to 30 minutes of rehearsal time and sound check time, and that basically put the whole program behind that much. So of course, we were supposed to start at 6:15, and it didn't start till almost 7
Yeah.
because we had a
Yeah, people outside were all frustrated. They were like, "Hey, what's going on?" I thought
well,
this
and
was
on
at
top
this
of that,
time,
I
or-
guess when they finally got back on stage to do their sound check, one of the curtains fell, and so more stuff happened once they got back on stage. The sound system couldn't get turned back on. It wasn't turning back on because they had to shut everything down because of the fire alarm. We had to wait for the fire trucks to get there. It was a huge mess. So it was extremely frustrating for the parents, but hopefully they understood how frustrating it was for their students who, were trying, and the teachers that were putting this together, trying to do their rehearsals and do their sound checks and make sure it sounded, it was the best it could be before everybody sat down. So, but everybody seemed fine. Like
it was all good.
it was all good in the end. So, but yeah. I've had a busy
So you
week.
volunteered twice,
I volunteered
and
twice.
both days went to hell.
Yeah,
Kids or
both
somebody
days
playing
were.
it. So the concert was at a different location, right? It was not
bigger
the
high
actual high school.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it was
no.
a different. So you think it was one of the kids from that actual high school that felt like messing with?
Maybe
Like,
it's completely
screw
possible.
these guys or not.
That's what everybody was saying. They're like, somebody pulled the alarm. Like everybody was saying that this was done on purpose, and all our teachers were saying was like, it better not have been one of our kids, But there's no way to prove that. So
Yeah, so that concert was pretty interesting. I kicked off with like acoustic, and I went back like from the 50s and 60s, like three
it was
songs.
a rock concert.
And then, yeah, they did like a medley of like 70s and I guess 80s.
All the way to the 90s and 2000s.
And then 90s. And yeah, and then they had an short intermission because of what happened. And then, yeah, it was pretty interesting. And it was a whole group. And I get to see like, I guess, some of the kids are like their last year, and it's like a special choir group or something that perform. And
Yeah, the chambers.
yeah, and I guess that's it. Like they're done, and that was a lot of kids. I was like 80% of all the kids in that, I guess, chambers. So yeah, I was like, wow. Teachers seem to be enjoying it and having a good time. Just like she really loves her.
She
her
loves
craft.
what she does.
Yeah.
She definitely loves what she does.
So yeah, it was a nice school. It was a nice campus.
Yeah.
I was laughing my butt off while we were in line waiting to get in because they have like, kind of like natural California plants and pine trees and stuff like that, and they have some like stones in there and like a yard or whatever. And there was this one rock perfectly, and our daughter was like, our oldest daughter was laying on it, pretending to be the Little Mermaid. And the baby was running and came running out of the background, and she was like, splash. And
Like
I
a
was,
wave?
yeah, and I was rolling. I was like, this is so awesome. And I was like, do it again. And she's like, splash, splash. And the other one was all in character, like hands on the rock, and her stomach and her legs are like rolling them back like she was a mermaid, and she's like doing the whole hair wave, and I don't know the song, but she was singing it, and then splash, and people were just laughing. And that leads
Well,
to the next thing. So we went to watch a family movie. I promised the girls that whenever that Little Mermaid came out, we went to see it. So yeah, it was actually good. I actually enjoyed it. I mean, it was the same thing as a cartoon. Um, a couple new songs, kind of like what they did with Beauty and the Beast, I
yeah,
guess.
it was a little, they tweaked it just a little bit, and I think we liked it way more than we thought we were going to like it.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. It was cool what they did with it. It was cool what they did with the whole daughters and everything. And like I said, I like Javier Bardem, so it was cool to see him as Triton and actually still pronounce names in Spanish.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I,
It was, I mean, for those who haven't seen it, we won't spoil it, but if any of you are not wanting to see it because of whatever preconceptions you have about the changes that they've made to the story, I guess all you have to remember is that it's a take on a story, just like so many movies out there. It's just a version.
yeah,
And I mean, there's so many things out there that have been modified, so many movies that have been modified from the original story, book, whatever. And no one has issues with those things.
no,
So
I mean they do. The
honestly,
nerds do. Like usually
yeah,
they get
that's
mad with
true.
the superhero movies. Like oh
Yeah.
the comic books this and the comic books that.
Yeah, but if you give it a chance and you look at it with a different perspective, like, okay, I get it, because it's not for anybody thinking that it's like a woke thing. If you watch it, then you pay attention to what they're trying to say, the regional aspects, because it actually kind of, this is one thing I will spoil, is that it each mermaid represents a different part of the world.
Yeah,
And if you look at it from that aspect, which makes sense, right? King Triton is the king of the seas, of all the oceans and all the waters. So it would make sense that he would have children from all over the world, right? So
to take care of certain areas
yeah,
that he's not
exactly.
around.
So you look at it from that perspective, then yeah, it makes sense the way they did it.
Yeah,
So
splash.
yeah. So again, like everything else, it's just a different version of a story.
Yeah, it's a movie for kids.
Yeah.
Little girls enjoyed it, loved it. I know
Yeah.
our daughters enjoyed it, except for the baby. From what you told me, she kept on
She had a lot
complaining.
of questions because she's used to her version that she's always seen, the cartoon version she's seen. So she's like, but they didn't say that in the cartoon, or they didn't do that. And I completely understand where she's coming from, because I feel the same way when I'm used to a certain movie or a certain story, and then they go and adapt it differently, and then you're like, well, I don't like how they did this. She liked it, she enjoyed it, but she definitely commented on the fact that things were different. She noticed the difference.
Yeah,
So, and that's normal.
that's cool. Yeah, but it was cute. It was nice. The little girls will enjoy it.
Yeah, there
little
was
girl
lots of
take
little
it.
girls there. We made our 10-year-old go with us because we didn't want him to stay with his older brother and die.
Yeah.
So we're all like, we can't leave the two of you home
So on
together.
that note, talking about dying. So yeah, the kids are gonna be home for this week, and
They're gonna be home for the
this
summer
weekend,
now.
yeah, this weekend, just
Minus the
watching
high
them,
schooler. Minus the high schooler.
watching the other ones together. It's gonna be a rough one.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
Man, they argue about everything. They fight about everything.
The three of them, yeah.
And it's the weirdest things. And I'm learning that our oldest, our 6-year-old, right now is going through like this whole very sensitive phase.
Yep.
But I like the fact that she's open enough to let you know.
I guess
So like you
you
said
don't-
this to me, and it really hurt my feelings.
so there you learn that at school, and I get it. I get that she's expressing herself and letting me know how she feels. But at the same time, then I'm telling her, unfortunately, that's going to happen a lot in life.
Right.
And I need you to not be hurt about it every time it happens. People are going to say mean things to you. People are not going to always share with you. You're not going to always get your way. I'm not always going to have time to listen to you. Your brothers and your sister are not always going to have time to play with you. I need you to learn to be okay with that. And I'm sure some psychologists or other parents out there are like, no, that's the wrong response. Well, this is the way I'm parenting, and I living it and going through it with 4 kids. I'm like,
I find it funny how after you say something like that, you feel like you have to defend yourself for saying it.
well, because I want people to understand where I'm coming from. It's more like, I know I'm very strict compared to a lot of the moms I know. And there's a reason our kids are the way they are.
Yeah.
At least out around people, right? So we understand, or we hear other parents tell us that our children are pretty well behaved. And I definitely believe that for kids to be well behaved outside of the home, it's because they understand that there will be repercussions if they're not well behaved outside of the home. And that includes controlling their feelings. But she has definitely, she's overly emotional right now. Everything bothers her, especially if it doesn't go her way. And I guess I'm looking at it from that perspective. I know she's your baby and she goes to daddy and she's like, but daddy, I don't appreciate that you did this, or I don't appreciate this, or this makes me feel like this. Yes, it's great that she's communicating that. And at the same time, she's also testing to see what she can get away with.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
Maybe.
Definitely.
Maybe.
Because her stories change.
She repeats herself a lot. Like she feels like she's like getting the attention.
She's not getting heard. I do that too.
Repeating herself.
I do that too.
And I get it. I mean, there are 3 other siblings that she's competing with, so she doesn't know. And for some reason, when one starts talking, they all want to start talking at the same time. Mm-hmm. So then, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you heard me because you're not really looking at me, but and I'm like, I'm still listening. I'm like, just know I'm still listening, just because I'm not looking at you right now.
But we do that, right?
Yeah. Well,
so like if I'm multitasking and you're talking to me and I'm not looking at you, you're like, you're not looking at me, so you're not listening to me. Like, I hear you. I'm just busy doing something else. So, and that's what they say, right? That you're supposed to turn and pay attention to the person that's speaking so that they know that they have your attention. But when you've got a gazillion little bodies around you.
I give enough trying to talk to you.
Which is why we try to talk now.
Yeah, no, I can talk to you. I can't get close to you. I mean, it's just like they're always there. And the moment that we start having a conversation, they want to have a conversation and they are butting in and they're doing
They have input on whatever we're talking about, even if we're not talking. We do have to remind them that, right? We're like,
no, but you're right. I mean, I do think about like how you say that people usually say, oh, your kids are good or well behaved. And, like I just checked in on them, asking them like, hey, let me ask you something. When you're around your friends' parents, how do you refer to them? Mm-hmm. And I was good to hear them say, oh, by their last name, Mr. or Mrs. or Sir or Ma'am. I was like, good. I better not ever hear that you were calling them by their names,
Yeah, because there's a lot of kids these days that are like, they just call you by the name their parents hear.
Yeah.
Instead of being respectful and calling you by your last name.
Oh man, can you imagine?
We definitely believe in that.
If I ever called any of my dad's friends or stepmom or anybody like by their name, I'm pretty sure they would have smacked me, and then my parents would have smacked me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I mean, my dad had one of those favorite things that until this thing, I repeat it. It's like, oh, we're fishing buddies. Oh, I didn't know we were fishing buddies. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's how we talk to each other. I'm like, whatever happened to respect? And in Spanish is different too because we have our way of talking to our grown-ups. We go with usted instead of tú. So so that changes everything. But so crazy summer ahead of us. We were trying to do something else as a family for the weekend, get away and have a little fun. But yeah, unfortunately, more issues came up. So
yeah, so last week also, one of the other things that happened last week was we finally got our car back, our family car back, and then it stopped working again. So, but now it's something completely separate from the initial issue. So you and the mechanic were out there trying to figure it out, and now we have to wait till Wednesday for
for parts to come in.
New parts to come in.
So cars are cool when they're new and you get on them and you drive away and do everything, and I guess it's stress free for about 5-6 years, and then for us, unfortunately, at year 9, year 9 is the year this thing decided to start giving us trouble. Which, I mean, for 9 years, it's still in pretty good condition. But unfortunately, stuff is starting to give out. So it's contemplating, like, oh, buy a new one. But the way that the prices are right now is like, well, forget it, fix it, and suck it up for another year or two.
Hopefully the prices
Go from
drop.
there. Oh, I doubt it. We're in California.
I know. Still in California.
Yeah, I doubt it. But it is what it is. I mean, lessons.
We're gonna be forced to buy electric in another 2 years.
That's where they're doing it.
I refuse.
In my mind, I think that's why they're doing it. Why the prices keep on going up on everything, especially anything that's V8 or gasoline or petrol based, and they want you to go electric.
Ours is like eco fuel, right? We
can we can do either
one, but they want to get rid of those too because it doesn't make them money.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, they're making money out of the gas, but yeah,
not as much as they do off the electric.
Well, no, I mean that's still dumb. I mean, we have freaking rolling blackouts, and you still want to have everybody to have electrical vehicles. And as it is right now, we have rolling blackouts, and not everybody has electrical vehicles. Imagine what's going to happen when everybody has electrical vehicles.
They want everything. They want electric.
Yeah, but imagine what's going to happen.
And no one can go to work. They're going to shut down the system again.
Yeah, everything is like grid's going to... Yeah, I'm not going down that freaking conversation right now. It's so stupid. But whatever.
Well, let's see. And let's see what else. That was it. The kids were out on Thursday. I mean, they literally Wednesday. Our 10-year-old went roller skating with his friends for the first time.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. So he went. The school. This was like their last minute field trip for 5th grade because they didn't really get to do too many field trips this year. They coordinated a roller skating trip. And unfortunately, our son does not know how to roller skate. I mean, he's tried. He had rollerblades here at home, but he outgrew them. And he thought he could do it. And I told him, "Are you sure, buddy?" He's like, yeah, Mom, I know how to roller skate. I'm like, okay. And then he gets in the car. He's like, "Mom, I had the worst day." I said, "Oh, no, what happened?" And it was a short day on top of that. He's like, "I got kicked off the roller skating ring." And I'm like, "Why?"
Did he knock people down?
No, he just kept falling too many times. And he said it wasn't his fault. He said people were knocking him down on purpose because they saw that he was unstable. Again, part of this group of kids that I'm happy he's getting away from. But that they kept knocking him down. And he's a good kid, he's not going to try to start fights with people.
That's so crazy because I remember when he was a kid, man.
When he was little,
he was like
so feisty.
Quick to like get into it with people. I mean, 2-year-old,
he's quick with words. He's real
to this
quick
day
with
he's
words.
But
before,
oh man,
he's not into fighting.
There was a reason why I called him Conan.
Yeah, no, he's still quick with his words and his comebacks, but when it comes to physical altercation, he's just like, eh. But he ultimately, but here's the thing, he never snitches. Like, he never points the finger at who did what. Like, and so ultimately, it wasn't even the parents or the teachers that were there that asked him to get off. It was the employees. I think they were
okay.
They were like, he's a liability. Let's get him off.
Yeah, if he had that attitude he used to have, I think I would have been more afraid of him. Like, if he was knocked down, of him like getting down on the ground, taking off his roller skates, and chasing the kids to beat them with it.
Yeah,
that's how short his temper is.
It used to be.
Yeah.
He used to have a really short fuse. Yeah.
And then he used to have such a high tolerance for pain too. And I don't know what's going on lately.
Nope.
Now it's like everything he wants to make a big deal. And I know I feel like in a way it's kind of like seeking for attention. Or
because he's one of the middle kids.
Getting him babied.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, poor baby. And I kind of been giving him the tough love on that lately. It's like, okay, so you just smashed your finger. What are you going to do? Put some eyes on it. Like, stop crying about it.
Yeah.
All that.
Yes.
It's not going to get it.
I've had to do the same
thing.
Not
kissing no boo-boos, man. You're old enough.
Like, like he stubbed his toe the other day, and he was just like hopping around to making sure that I could see him. Like, and I was like, "Oh, what the heck's wrong with you now?" He's like, "I stubbed my toe." I'm like, "All right, well, go put some ice on it." Like, you stub your toe. We stub our toes all the time. I go, "Put your shoes on. Stop running down the hallway barefoot." So.
So you didn't run down the hallway. So I guess we're just filling in on the kids like mishap this week. I was doing some yard work and I came in and I asked myself for something. The oldest and he
I
got
was
it.
serving you dinner.
Something like that, yeah. And our daughter walks by and punches her brother and just runs down the hall. And then, the oldest is doing what I'm asking him. We're having a conversation. And I was like, all right, go get her. And he runs after her. And then next thing you know, like within not even 5-10 seconds, all of a sudden I just hear
Just
like
crashing,
just
breaking
glass.
glass sound.
And I was like, oh no, what happened? And her face is just like, oh man. And we had this old piece of furniture with a little upper kind of
Had glass on top.
glass on top. And no, man, we had that thing forever anyhow. And yeah, it was. I always wondered why did it survive as long as it did. I was like, man, I can't believe this thing still hasn't broken.
Mm-hmm.
And today,
It broke.
yesterday, came to an end. Yeah,
It shattered.
shattered everywhere. She was freaking out. She was so pale. I was like, hey, it was an accident. Don't worry about it. But it was just funny how even the oldest one, sometimes he's just so cool and leave me alone. But he has those moments when he's a kid again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to see that.
Like today, he actually laid, or yesterday, whatever day,
We were laying it.
he
Yeah.
laid on my lap. He has not laid on my lap in years.
Well, I was gonna start making fun of him, right? Because I walked in and we were watching a movie, but I walked away for a second, came back, and he was his head was on your lap, and
I was braiding his hair.
yeah, and I saw him and I was like, oh, how cute, and then I kind of like, wow, that's cool, man, like because his face was his smile, he was glowing. He was like, oh, like there was something about his facial expression that was like, oh, like he was so happy, he was like.
I didn't see his face.
Yeah,
I
it
just
was
saw the back of his head
like I got my mom to myself. Like I'm
for a
getting,
minute.
I'm
Well,
getting love, I'm getting love and affection, and her undivided attention. He looked like a big baby, just a big baby, just like
yeah,
yeah.
he's taller than me. He's significantly taller than me already. So,
But
but
yeah, it
again,
was cute. It was cute to see it, and I just told myself like, don't ruin it. Let him have that because that facial expression said it all. And I was like, let you have that too. Like you're enjoying your baby boy. So I was like, don't be a dad right now. Don't be one of those tough dad right now. Let him have it. It was cute. It was
thank
cute.
you.
Yeah. No, I love seeing his face like that. It was nice.
It's true. He's always he actually never tries to get my attention, and I think it's just because his siblings are always on top of me. So it was nice for him to like he doesn't even let me hug him, or give him goodbye kisses and stuff like that. He's too cool for that. But so it was really I was shocked that he laid down on my lap and he let me braid his hair. So
No,
yeah.
yeah.
And he'll even let me scratch his back. He never lets me scratch his back either.
No, that'll
So
change soon, I guess.
yeah. Well, no, I'm saying he never lets me do those things. So I'm sure this was a, one in a few months, Mom. Don't expect it to happen again. But yeah, it was nice. But I mean, overall, I mean, the kids, yeah, I mean, they've had some mishaps and they weren't as sad as I thought they were going to be on their last day of school. I expected them to be way, way, way sadder. But, we've been talking about the fact that they were probably going to go to a different school for a while now. So, and I made sure that our 10-year-old, I bought him the yearbook this year so he can get friends' numbers and signatures and stuff like that so that they can stay in touch. And he's got his group of D&D friends that he's planning to, he wants to plan a D&D get together. I don't know how we're going to make that happen, but
I don't know about that
yeah.
one. But
And he wants to invite all of them to his birthday. When we go, he wants to go rock climbing for his birthday, and he wants to invite that same group of people for his birthday. So I've already been told by one of the little girls that she'll be there. So
is it one of his stalkers?
she's a friend. She's not a stalker, but I think she does. She does appreciate his.
Yeah, he
company.
told me that on that roller skating field trip. Yeah, man, he's a ladies' man, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
he has a stalker. She's not invited. She's not invited. It's so bad. It was so bad, I guess, that the parent that was driving them apologized to him for having to deal with it. And it wasn't even her kid. It's just,
Making it sound like he was being sexually harassed the whole time.
yeah,
You know,
like
it's
the
like,
whole time he was just being harassed by this little girl. And like, what are you going to do? Like, she couldn't separate them. So
yeah.
they were all in the same car together. But yeah, he's happy to not see her
Yeah,
again.
no, and I'm kind of glad they're going to a different school because there were things that he was saying in that school that, like, overall, the school's cool.
I mean, it's just
Teachers
this
are
last
cool.
year. Just it
But I
went.
think that, yeah, ever since the pandemic and all those teachers, like, rotating in and out and disappearing and some of the kids and the stories that he talks about what's going on, it's just, kind of, you don't want your kid around if it's true. And he's not a liar, so I'll take his word for it. I mean,
Yeah.
does he exaggerate stories sometimes? Yeah, but something of the nature of what he said,
It's
like
the way he
the
said it.
bullying
Yeah.
and stuff going on. So it's just better. It's just better to start new.
It's so funny. He'll snitch to us about things. He'll come. He's very open about what happens at school, and he
I wouldn't
informs
call it
us.
this
Well,
snitching. It's more like a
yeah, he's
trust.
he's trusting us with the information, but he won't trust teachers or people at school. Like he doesn't want to get his friends in trouble. So he won't tell any of them who
Right.
did what, but he'll come home and tell us.
Well, I think it's because of the way how they handle stuff at school. Because he's been in those situations before when he first started, like school, where things happen and they're like, "Hey, man, this guy's bullying, or this guy's taking this, or this guy,"
Well, sometimes there's no
and the
action.
teachers don't do anything. And it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, just stay away from him." It's like, so what's the point? And then the bully's upset, or
Yeah.
the other kids are upset. Oh, you snitch, punk. We're gonna get you later. So
Yeah.
his mind's probably like, what's the point of saying
What's the
anything?
point? But I always used to get mad at him when he would take the fall for people. And I think I've said this in another episode, but there was a couple times he took the fall for people for stuff that they did, and I would get mad at him at those points and be like, "Buddy, I know you're trying to be like a good friend, but kids who let you take the fall for their bad actions are not good friends. So you need to stop hanging around those kids, or I need you to realize that those are not good friends." And he did. He stopped hanging around those kids. So anyways, hopefully he'll meet better behaved kids, or I don't know, nicer kids at this newer school. I mean, the school itself is more strict, so we'll see. Which is another scary thing, because our kids are kind of.
I kind of like having other kids in the same school, so I don't mind it. This whole that the high schooler was like going way different than them, and when they could be in the same campus, the same school together,
Yeah.
I just think it makes more sense.
Well, and a lot of families do have all their kids at that school for that same reason, because they literally have all their kids there, from kindergarten to high school.
Yeah.
Which brings me to our kindergartner, since I have decided to homeschool her officially. I've declined offers to all other schools, and
Sad, but something happened in that process, right? Because before you made that call, before you made that decision, you reached out to work and you brought up the fact of like, what are the plans? Are we opening? Am I able to go back to work every once in a while, or once or twice a week, whatever?
yeah.
And it was a very strong no.
Yes.
And now tell us what happened.
Okay, so also last week, so a lot happened last week. I got a phone call from work, and they're basically, after we've already made this official decision to homeschool our kindergartner, or our soon-to-be 5-year-old, they're like, "Hey, would you be interested in coming back to the office?" So, of course, I had to let them know that I'd be happy to come for the summer, back to the office a couple days a week. But once the fall starts, that wasn't going to be possible, because I've now made this commitment and already enrolled her in a homeschool program and everything for the fall. So, and I made that decision based on the fact that they had told me that that the policy at the company was this, and I was not going to be able to come work in the office, and that I could continue to do my job from home. Okay, fine. So that's what it is. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I wrote them a letter, kind of, detailing what my probable schedule will be,
Availability.
what my availability is for the summer, and what I expect my availability to be in the fall. to be. And again, that could change because I still haven't received the curriculum. And once I receive the curriculum, I, I might not have time to work, or not work till the evenings, or maybe I can do it on the weekend. Maybe I could do schoolwork on the afternoons. I don't know. I'm new to this whole homeschool thing. It's something
You
I've
thi-
always wanted to do, but now I'm actually doing it.
do you think that maybe your work is kind of upset with your answer and they might lay you off?
I'm always thinking that in the back of my head. I don't know that they're upset. They're really understanding. I'd like to think that they are really understanding because they have been. I mean, I could have lost my job when this all started, right? Like lots of people in our office did lose their job.
A lot of people in your office quit too.
Yeah, that's true too. So I was one of the few that was given the opportunity to work from home, and I appreciate that. I mean, they've kind of left me alone to make my own hours for the most part, and as long as I get my job done. So I'd like to think that that would be able to continue, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. The people that actually make the calls, they could change it. What's wrong?
Nothing. I was looking around the
The
our
room.
area and I saw something out of place in my mind. Kind of
Yeah.
threw me off.
Oh. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I do feel like I could lose my job, but maybe I'm just being a little paranoid. So we'll see. I mean, there's other people who have for years. They only come in like once or twice a week, so I don't see how it would be a problem for me to do the same. But
Well,
yeah, and
yeah. I
I know you
mean,
had a busy week, stressful week.
yeah. It's been a couple weeks,
Yeah.
where I've been
Ready to
working
get
late.
back to it?
Nah, but it is what it is.
You're not going to leave.
this last holiday, it's gonna be the last holiday off, or God knows when. We don't get that many holidays off. Oh yeah, 4th of July weekend. So yeah,
Another just over a month.
I'll be probably working straight till then.
Yeah.
No, unless I get
My,
sick. Or,
my whole thing is your overtime. Like, you are not getting enough sleep.
nah, yeah, that's true.
You're not getting, and you know that lack of sleep ages you. Like, there's so many studies on the fact that lack of sleep ages you. Actually, I heard about it something this morning. I forget what the statistics was, but yeah, you do not sleep enough.
Well, I guess we'll get to sleep when we die. So that'll be.
Yeah, well, I don't need you to die before the kids are all grown. I know we can't control that. Something could happen at any time, but still.
You know, but it is what it is. So unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially if I lose my job.
Right. Especially if you lose your job, then I'm definitely gonna be working all that overtime and I guess more stress for you for being at home with the kids, and then more stress
That's
for
not
me
more
trying to
stress
get more
because
hours.
I technically wouldn't have to worry about a job, you know.
Yeah.
I poor kids because I would probably be giving them all a whole lot more homework.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that you like to do, right? Like usually when they're on break, you end up making packages for them.
I do. I do. I like my kids to not forget what they've learned, so I do give them homework over the summer.
You,
Worksheets, workbooks.
yeah. So, yeah, if they were thinking like, hey, school's out, wrong, buddy.
Never. None of my, not even the grown adult ones. They used to, every time they used to come over, probably part of the reason they didn't like coming over
Yeah.
is that I
Yeah.
would have homework for them.
There's always some type of work. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because I remember going on break and then coming back, and I felt like really slow and
Yeah.
stupid. I mean,
But it's like the stuff I give them is, it's literally like two
simple
or
stuff.
three grades below. It's just refresher stuff. And sometimes I'll give them stuff that's a little more difficult because it's stuff they need to work on. So for example, and our kids are great when it comes to math, but when it comes to reading and writing, those are not their strengths. So I think I try to focus more on, well, I haven't in the past, but this summer I will be focusing on reading and writing for the summer because I've been
I would
really
say
lax on that.
penmanship. They.
Well, that's why I said reading and writing.
Oh yeah, reading and writing. Sorry,
Not just their penmanship, but their grammar.
Mm.
You know, the
I might have to sit there with them too because my grammar's not that great either.
Well, I mean, it's not your first language. It is their first language. They have no excuse.
Their only language.
Their only language. It's true.
I mean, they hear other ones, but it's not like a common usual.
They don't know how to speak it. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
oh, well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys got planned out for your summers with your kids? Let us know. What's on the plans? What's the agenda? I mean, obviously we can't go to Europe or anything like that because, well, we have to work. So
Yeah.
and it's expensive. So in order to pay for those trips, we have to work.
And then we have to ask for the time off.
Yeah, and
so
then we have to ask time to do it. So it's like a little cycle where you can't do one or the other. But yeah. So I did hear from our eldest this past weekend that she made it to her next base and she likes it and the people are awesome and her barracks are nice and her roommates are cool and she loves her job.
She said her roommate was leaving.
Yeah, but there's another roommate. I guess it's like three. It's like a 3-bedroom kind of like little apartment. We got to see on the video we were video chatting. She showed their kitchen is freaking nice. I was like, whoa, like.
Well, she chatted with me for a minute. She was telling me that she might be okay staying there because the kitchen's so big.
She was telling me that she found out that I guess they'll be coming a lot to San Diego too.
Yeah,
on the
she
ship.
did mention
so
that.
I was like, oh,
so she'll be home a lot more often.
Yeah, good for you. Awesome. But yeah, she seems happy. She seems like she's enjoying it.
Yeah,
she was very excited about the fact that they have a pool. So.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's a saltwater pool. So she's extra happy about that.
Yeah, she's a swimmer. Yeah.
So yeah, she's like, yeah, I want to be on the pool all the time. Well, she's like, I'm already getting on the pool all the time. So I was like, yeah, good for you.
Nice.
So yeah, but she's doing good. So yeah.
And the 21-year-old is going to be coming over for the summer.
Yeah, that's what she says. But she always says that every year, and she ends up wanting to go back
within a week.
Yeah, within a week. She's like, you know what? Time to go.
I don't even know where we're going to put her.
Yeah, I don't know either. That might be another reason for her to want to leave. He's like, you know what? I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because we got rid of our guest bedroom.
Yeah, which is pretty much
where we're at.
Our studio
it's
now.
Our studio now. Yeah, our guest bedroom is our studio now.
Well, it was my den. Then it became kind of like a guest room, and now it's like the studio / wife's office.
It's still a den.
My buddy Eddie sent me a thing, like an edition room, kind of like that you order, like a mini space one. And I was like, oh, yeah, that thing's cool because it's just mainly like a little office. Mm-hmm. And then he sent it to me and he put like hashtag save the man cave. Oh. I thought that was funny. I was laughing. I was like, I forgot to tell you about that one, but yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, you didn't tell me. Well,
yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. I completely forgot about it until right now.
Yeah. Well, extra space would be nice.
Right. Yeah, no, they're actually pretty cool. I actually liked it. I looked at the page and the designs and everything. I thought that was.
So what, you put it like outside of the house?
Yeah, you can add it to the house, like on the side, like that little hallway we have over there not by the garage, the opposite side.
Yeah, they're like those little pop-up houses that you
kind of like that. Yeah, it's just you put it there and that's it. Like.
Okay.
Get some hookups and yeah, kind of like those little mini houses or those mini rooms that we saw that they sell that they just pop up.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
One we were talking about getting for my mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that.
Still here, but not here.
But not as white, obviously smaller. So it's just like an office space. Or like a recording studio.
That's cool.
I actually, when I first saw it, I thought like a recording studio. I was like, oh, well, do the whole podcast in there and just be easy. We leave everything set up and that's
we don't have to move things around.
Yeah, and it's kind of like outside, like we go outside and go in there and we're not.
Something to look up.
Yeah, nobody to distract us or come knocking or, wanting to lay down in the middle of the floor.
You mean like the dogs?
The dog, yeah. When we started recording today, the dog sneaked in slowly, like give me that look.
Oh, well, that's interesting. We'll have to look into that more. Maybe it's a possibility. We have the space outside, so why not?
I actually did like to put it on that side. I was like, oh, that'll be perfect for that side.
Okay.
Just for the heck of it.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see
I was
about
like,
it.
but if I make that my man cave, I was like, they'll never see me. I was like, that's a lie. I'm always want to be around
But
everyone.
isn't that why you want the garage?
Nah,
You're
that's
supposed
a
to turn the
different.
garage into a gym.
Yeah, part of it it's supposed to be a gym or just. Well, I never got my bike. I haven't got on a bike again. I was thinking about just making it all bikes, but I don't know. Now maybe now that I don't have my den down to myself, maybe the garage will be my new den.
And then I'll give the den to the boys.
No, that's never gonna happen.
As
This
their
is still
bedroom.
my den. Will always be my den. It's on loan to
I'll
you.
just move my office to my bedroom.
Go ahead. You want to do it now? That sounds great too. We can do that now.
Hey, you're the one who moved it all in here.
I thought it was a nice gesture.
It was a nice gesture. Anyways, well, that's basically been our week. I mean, do you have any other topics you want to discuss?
I have so many topics to talk about. So many things that I wish I can talk about, but I know we don't have the time. And then sometimes, it might get a little boring or dumb or whatever for some people. But, oh, wait, never mind. I did want to talk about something else that just happened. So, you know how we were talking about previously about the whole, typical types of mothers and how crazy that stuff is or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about that one about the 70s and that I wanted to watch the one that HBO was making.
Oh, the Love and Death?
Yeah.
The murder mystery?
Yeah, the one about Candy.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, we watched it this past weekend, right?
We watched that version.
So tell me, which one did you like better, the Hulu one or the Max one? I guess, I'm sorry, it's been rebranded, so it's Max now.
I don't know. I enjoyed both versions. I think this one was longer.
Really?
This one, I felt
I think
like
they were about the same.
really. I felt like this one was longer.
Maybe, yeah.
I did like the whole hypnosis version, like that section.
I missed that.
On
I was
the
working
Love
on
and
it.
Death one. I liked how they explained it and how they went into the details of how it works. Well, they touched on it, right? So, and that's of course a topic we want to talk about in the future too, right? Hypnotherapy.
Yes.
And so we know a clinical hypnotherapist, and we want to bring on here and discuss things. So we'll plan that in the future. But again, it's a murder, and I can't say I liked one better than the other. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it too much.
I liked the acting of the victim on the Hulu one.
The other one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that one. However, I think I like this Candy better.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying.
I mean, not to say anything against
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, Jessica Biel. She did a great job. I liked it. I thought it was great. I was like, man, they're gonna have a hard time competing with this one.
Yeah.
When I heard that they also had one, but after watching it, I was like, dude, this is not bad.
But you are right. The victim, Betty, on the other one, on the other version, the Hulu version, she definitely, her acting I think was way more believable. Like the anger, the suspicion, the just everything. I agree. And because she seemed mousy too. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, okay. Oh. He's showing me a picture of what he was talking about, that office. But yeah, so we watched that murder mystery this weekend.
I guess they're called Made by Room on Instagram.
Okay.
That's what he sent me. So see, like, there's even little booths for like homework, or they made like different
A
timeout
timeout box for the kids.
timeout box. I guess if you
horrible.
want to call it that.
That seems okay, but those are like in the house. They're not
Those
even
are-
like
yeah.
outside of the house.
I guess so.
That's like in people's houses. I guess we can post a picture of this so people can know what we're talking about.
You're right. They're all inside. So it's like making a little private kind of conference room or dining
within
room.
your own space.
Yeah, within your space. So I don't think they're ready for outside then.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I have to go back to the other ones. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was cool. I'm sorry, we're going back to
I don't know
the
what you're
original
talking
subject.
about right
No,
now.
but Candy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but you know the cool thing I think about the Max one was at the end they showed actual pictures of other people.
They did on the other one too.
Did they? I don't remember. I don't remember because I was like, yeah, what's her name? Olsen?
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Olsen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was like, looks nothing. Neither does Jessica Biel.
Neither one of them looked anything.
I mean, the
like...
hairstyle, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think Jessica Biel's character, her hair was a little more...
Yeah, more perm, more permy.
More permy, I guess.
I mean, the dudes were better looking on the Hulu one than the main characters than the ones over here. But but at the end they looked more like they looked more like I think the Max ones.
But what did you like about this murder mystery?
The fact that she swung the axe at a person for like 40, 41, 42 times and they played the whole childhood trauma, insanity plea.
And she got off.
And she got off by it. Like, you know, that whole hypnotherapy. And it's one of the things I was telling you. It was, you know, we're talking about 1980.
It was 1980. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this is kind of like all new in a court case of using these
Hypnosis.
methods. Yeah, using this as evidence or as to defend your case. You know?
Part of the defense.
Yeah, so, you know, they talked about hypnotherapy and, you know, childhood trauma, triggering, and then how she supposedly, her mom shushing her, triggered her to... because his lady shushed her, and then she just, you know, hacked her 40 times and, you know, got away with it. Like, oh shit, spoiler alert, my bad.
I'll put it in the notes.
You know, I mean, it was a case. I mean, if you don't know it, still watch it.
Yeah, this is just a piece of it. We're not giving you the full details.
But yeah, so it was just like that interests me because I know that if nowadays anybody would try to use that, yeah, I don't think.
No, you'd be surprised how many cases still get
dismissed
because of insanity pleas.
But it was crazy. Yeah, I just thought it was crazy, and I thought it was funny how she just went about it like, hey, you want to have an affair?
Oh, that like so nonchalantly.
Yeah,
like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a lot of people in the world who do that.
Yeah.
They're just like, that's how they have.
I just thought it was funny that you went like, if it was Jessica Biel or, you know, Elizabeth Olsen, asking you, what would you say?
And you said definitely Elizabeth Olsen, cradle robber.
I was like, no, you said she's what, 30, what, 38, 30, 34?
Yeah, I think she's in her 30s.
Yeah, it's different.
10 years younger.
I'd be like, no.
Oh, our son, our 14-year-old.
Oh, yeah, I learned something about it. I didn't know that. We didn't know that.
We didn't know that our 14-year-old was in love with her.
He comes out, he's like, that's my wife.
Yeah. We were like, what? He's like, that's my wife. I'm like, okay, I think she's married. What?
Yeah, he's like, no, if anybody will be my wife, she will be my wife. That's my wife.
I was surprised.
Me too.
We had no idea that he liked her.
Nah.
So, especially at that level. Like I expect. Oh yeah, I think
he's always saying he's not going to get married and he doesn't want to have a family.
Now he says that. Now
he goes like, oh yeah.
If
I could pick anybody, that'll definitely be my wife right there.
That's so funny. So
I was
funny.
like, all right, buddy. I can respect that. All right, cool.
No, that's funny. Well, okay, we talked about murder mysteries again. I think we did on the last one too.
Oh, I mean, it's
I love murder mysteries. I do. I love listening to all those crazy stories. I am not researching on how to kill you. Some
Funny,
days, though.
I was thinking
Some days.
Some days, really? I thought it was every day.
No, not every day. I want to kill you every day.
I
Not
don't
every
believe
day.
you.
No, not every day.
If looks could kill, and I get
If
those
looks
looks
could
every
kill, you would listen better.
day. You would too.
I guess so.
Nah, I never look at you like that.
Yeah, you do.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm gonna choke you to death right now. That's the look.
Nah.
I'm gonna pin
First
you.
of all, I don't see you enough, so.
So if either one of us dies, everybody knows to like check on the other.
I mean, there are times when I get home and I want to go to sleep because I'm tired and I can't because you tired from being with the kids and running around all day. But
and I'm snoring.
And you end up snoring. You rarely snore, but when you snore, like I know that you were really, really tired.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like,
I don't even notice.
I want to hit you with the damn pillow and be like, yo, I'm trying to sleep.
But isn't it funny? Like you can't fall asleep when someone is snoring, but then once you're asleep, you don't even notice.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so tired sometimes. Like tonight, I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit that pillow and I'm not going to know anything because I'm just so tired, so deep in sleep. I don't even notice you coming home. You're like, oh, I take a shower. I didn't hear. I don't even hear the dogs barking. It's horrible.
Yeah, no.
It's
been a couple of times, yeah. It's been a couple of times, especially lately where you're just like, I didn't even feel you. I don't even know what time you came in.
I don't even know what time the baby showed up in the bed because we've been putting her in her own bed more lately. And
she's been showing up between 3 and 4 a.m.
So about the time you go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah, usually, I get out of the shower, I lay down, and within 15 to 30 minutes, like I said, an hour in there, she gets there.
Yeah.
The last couple of times, I'm like, I think I've been to sleep for like 5 minutes.
And she shows up.
And she jumps in and she starts kicking me or whatever.
Do you go check on them before you come
I don't. No, I try not to. I walk around. I put like my ear in there, but that door squeaks. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to scare them. And the same thing, I don't want to wake her up to the point where she goes to bed.
Yeah.
So I just rather not, because I did that before and that happened. So I was like, it was in my head. But now that I know that even though I'm not going in the room, mm-hmm. it's still happening. So it's just her inner clock.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, I think
time for bed for us.
Yeah, time for bed. It's been a long weekend, and I hope you guys have a good one. Like I said, let us know any plans for the summer. Maybe we want to steal some ideas from you.
If we can get away.
Yeah.
We got to just make the time, honestly. We got to just make the
We
time.
need a freaking car where we're all fit
is true.
Fine and we can do this.
Once the car is fixed, if it gets fixed, then we can make plans. Or we buy a new car.
If it just runs, I'm going to just drive it off a cliff and just get a new one. Because, man,
can't we just turn it in?
No, it's not worth it.
If it's running, we can just go turn it in.
No, it's not worth it because they're not going to give us anything.
If it's running, yes, they will.
No, they don't.
They don't know what's wrong with it.
No. They don't give you a squat.
They will. I heard you have to go to a different dealer, like a different brand. Can't go to the same brand. That's what I heard.
See, people, and reasons like that is why you shouldn't buy used cars.
This wasn't a used car.
No. But I'm saying, like, if you're trading in the car, you're like, well, if it's running, trade it in. Like,
yeah, you're saying, yeah, because maybe it got traded in because it was broken.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw a video one time of a guy in a Camaro, and he was like on a beach or something. I think it was Daytona, and he was like doing donuts and getting all that water in there. And he's like, yeah, before I go trade it in, for whatever car he was getting. And that was the first time I was like, man, maybe I don't want to buy used cars anymore.
I told you, no more used cars.
I've always bought used cars, but they're old cars. It's never
classic.
Nothing new. Yeah, buy old cars, especially something that didn't have to be smog, except for that bitchin' Camaro. But, man, I think the bitchin' Camaro is my longest relationship.
Yeah, you still have the bitchin' Camaro. It just doesn't run.
No, it runs. It just doesn't pass the smog. Well, it
right now
ran.
it doesn't run.
It ran.
It ran when you parked
it used to run.
14 years ago when you parked it.
Oh my goodness, it's been 14 years. Yes,
No.
you were pregnant.
No, it's been.
Yes,
It's been
I parked it when you were pregnant.
No, you didn't.
With
He's
the
been in
oldest.
it. He was in it.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It wasn't. It couldn't.
You parked it after we had our second, or right before we had.
Yes,
right before
but
we had
it
our second.
couldn't drive it in California because it wouldn't pass the smog because it was a non-California vehicle because of
It
the
was
stuff
Florida,
that I'd done to it.
because of
Yeah.
the Florida vehicle. Yeah. Anyways, we said goodnight like I don't know how many times.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We used that trading card, whatever. We were talking about trips, but yeah. So thank you for joining us again. Have a great week. We'll see you next
talk
time.
to you.
Yeah.
You'll hear
We'll talk.
from us.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys. Thank you for making us part of your commute or your daily podcast listening. And we wish you the best.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.